Have you ever wondered how to track your Poshmark sales on your own? Well, today I'm going to be talking about how I use Google Sheets to do just that. Stay tuned. Hello everybody and welcome back to today's video. I'm Blake, aka PoshBossBlake, and welcome back to the channel. And today I'm coming at you with how to track easily in a digestible manner your Poshmark sales using Google Sheets. You can also do this in Excel, but I'm using Google Sheets because you can access it anywhere that you have a wireless cellular connection. So before we get into that, I just want to say hello everyone, welcome, thank you so much for your support of the channel. And if you're watching this on Friday, Saturday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, I know it's early, I am doing my monthly reseller sip and set where we'll talk all things reselling. So if you have any follow-up questions from this video, come check it out here on my YouTube channel. Make sure you hit the bell so you get notified when I have a new video every Friday. But Saturday, the 27th of February, I'm doing my reseller sip and send. Come join. Okay, so this is going to be super easy, super digestible. I'm actually going to share my screen and we're going to walk you through my setup for how I track my expenses for the Poshmark business. So I have a basic, this is basic. I can definitely follow up with a more analytical, numbery kind of situation, but this is like everything you need to know. And also, I just want to shout out, Poshmark does provide the sales report to you that is free from them. But as someone who just wants to make sure they have the checks and balances, also that particular report doesn't necessarily let you input a cost of goods, although the app allows you to do that within each item. I like to track it in my books, if you will. So looking on the spreadsheet, I just have some examples of items, and we're going to walk you through how I have this all set up. So actually, let me zoom in a little bit too, because this isn't a giant sheet. Okay, so my first column is item name. This seems pretty basic to me, and I hope it does to you. If you're exclusively shoes or clothes, whatever, feel free to title this, you know, whatever you would like. For me, I say item name because I could do clothing, shoes, handbags, home goods. It could be any category, so I don't want to limit myself with the column. Okay, moving on. Purchase date. This isn't necessary, but it's what I do. It's a way for me to track the date that I purchased it, also so I can reference the receipt that you will always keep to be able to reference the purchase, okay? Sale date. This is completely optional. This is like for the analysis of your inventory. For example, I faked the purchase date of this Free People 1 item as January 22nd and the sale date February 22nd. So, you know, it took a month to sell. My tool here is looking at how long something takes to sell. You know, using a bunch of factors, I just like to see how long something has been sitting, particularly if it was a longer time to sell. Sometimes too, it's nice to look and see, wow, that sold in 2 days. Oh, that sold in a week. That is not necessarily the case all the time. It does happen, but it's just a nice way to like reference how long something has been on the internet. Okay, so next up, purchase price. This is self-explanatory. It's the cost of the item. One thing to note, and this is the super basic version, okay? This is going to include your tax. On my personal, more analytical one, I break out an additional column to account for the tax for where I purchase something. If you're a part-time reseller or you're any kind of reseller and don't have a reseller license, that's okay. For those that don't know, reseller licenses allow you to not have to pay tax when you purchase the item. Depending on your state, the city, the store, whatever it is, there's a bunch of circumstances. Sometimes tax isn't taken out, like in Los Angeles, the Goodwills, there's no tax, but all the other thrift stores there are. Here in New York, there's tax. So with the purchase price, just account for the tax. For this instance, we're going to say that the purchase price was $50 for everything. It's like the full cost of the item. Okay. And we'll come back later to do a actually, no, we'll talk about it right now. Say you were to have 5 items on one receipt, right? Instead of putting down each individual cost for each individual item, which I did used to do, but found it a little too hard to keep track of, take everything on your one receipt, assuming you bought all of these 5 items at one time and they're all on one receipt. Just take this first cell here, pretend it's, blank, do the equal sign, and whatever the total cost was for that receipt, we'll still do 50. Type 50 and then divide it by the number of items on that receipt. So just divide by 5, right? So now you have $10 per item instead of having to worry about $2.99 and maybe $12.99 and then $4.99. This way it just makes everything a little bit more easy. When you're looking at how much you need to profit, it takes the stress off the more expensive items. This is something that I've come to like about splitting it across the whole receipt instead of each individual item. So if you want to then take that same formula to get that $10 and put it to the other items, all you have to do is take this little square, okay, and you'll get this little plus sign that shows up instead of the pointer. It'll be a little plus sign. You click and drag it down to the cell that you would like and then let go. And it will apply each of the equations to each of the cells. If you ever want to change the equation, just double click. If you ever don't want to double click, but you just want to see the equation that's in the cell, just click on it. And then if you follow my mouse, go up to this little toolbar. This is where you will always see the function or the equation that you have typed in, okay? So that is that. We're going to move on. Sale amount. This is going to be the entire amount of money you receive from Poshmark. So say you have a sale that is $200. Amazing. Let's type in $200. Great. And this is, I'm just going to take a moment. I'm not sure if I said it earlier, but this is where Poshmark versus eBay tracking is very different because there's more responsibility of the seller, us, when you are tracking those expenses. Separate video, go check it out on the internet for other people breaking down eBay analytics. But for Poshmark, if the sale is $200, input $200, okay? Poshmark fees. All right, so this is where you don't, it's always 20%, right? It's never changing unless they change their 20%. You don't really need to see this amount to know it's coming out, but I use this as a way to calculate at the end of the year the total Poshmark fees that I have been charged that are coming out of my sale price. So I use this to cross-reference with the provided sales report at the end of the years come tax time, like now-ish, and hopefully they're aligned. So what I like to do is just put another equation. So we're gonna make this blank. We'll say equals, okay, that's how you start an equation, and then we're going to click on the cell that we would like to choose, which is the sale amount. We want to take $200, okay, and we want to multiply it by 0.2, 20%, and hit enter, okay? So we now know 20% of 200 is $40. Love it. I mean, I wish it was $0, but it is what it is. For just example purposes, I'm going to fill in the sale amounts for the rest of the example items. We're just going to say 150, we'll say 100, we'll say 75, and then we'll just say 50 because why not? Now, with that initial equation that you've set up of the sale amount cell multiplied by 20% to get the total Poshmark amount that has been taken from you, you can do what we did for the purchase price equation and just hover over the Poshmark fees cell that you would like to copy for the equation, click, drag, and it will choose, because this is how we set it up, it will choose the appropriate sale amount cell. So you can see we chose $200 on the same line, multiplied it by 20. Go to the next line. It is now taking the 150, multiplying it by 20%. The next line, and so forth and so forth. So now you can see total the amount of fees coming off of every single sale. Great. Moving on to net sales. Also, you guys, I hope this is digestible and like easy for you. I've tried to film this video 100 times, and it is actually quite challenging to do something like this not in person. I would thrive doing this in person, but I have to manage my camera with my computer screen, which is separate because my webcam is like not great. Anyway, thumbs up for effort. I hope it's resonating. Okay, next column, net sales. So this is where we want to find out the total amount we've made after fees, not the cost of the good. That's not what I'm looking for. For net sales, any type of fees that have come off, shipping, Poshmark fees, etc., like things like that, come off into the net sale price. So how we get that is we're going to take an equal sign. We're going to click the sale amount we want, which is on this line, $200. We're going to subtract, minus, the fees, and we're going to hit enter. So the net sales, so your sales after fees, are $160. Great, great. Okay. That's simple. Again, like we did with the Poshmark fee column and the purchase price column, once you have an equation set up and you want to apply it to the rest of the rows, all you have to do is click the cell of the equation that you would like to choose and click and drag, and you can see it has now calculated the net sales for each of the individual line items. Yay, yay. I hope this is easy, digestible. Next up, and this is the most important part, in my opinion, because this is where you see the money that you made. The money that you made. Ow, the money that you made. Ow. So, okay. This is going to be another equation, but it is not difficult. What you're going to do is take your equal sign, you're going to take the net sales, and you're going to subtract the purchase price, okay? So just as I'm explaining this, you're taking the amount after fees and subtracting the cost of the item to get the true amount of money that was made, okay? So we're going to hit enter, and look at that, we made $150 on this item. We bought it for $10, we made $200, but the profit on the item is $150. After the fees, after the cost of the item, we have profited $150. Now, again, similar to net sales, Poshmark fee, and purchase price, once you have the equation set up, select the appropriate cell, click and drag down for the profit to be calculated on every other line, like we've done previously with the other columns. So as you can see, this hopefully is resonating. Something that you can do next, and feel free to, you know, depending on how many items you have, I like to do 1 to 100 and then put my total line on line 101, on row 101. That way I can just input and just, have all the formulas calculated. So what I mean by that is, say I didn't go shopping yet and I have space to input items, right? All I have to do once I set this up is continue dragging the formulas down, even though there's no products yet. And nope, that was the purchase price. My bad. Don't drag the purchase price. You're going to drag the cell equations. So Poshmark fees, you're going to drag down, and it should just put 0. You're going to do net sales, drag it down, and it should put 0. Same thing with your profit, it will put 0. Then when you start to get items, so test item 1, or let's test item 1, the purchase date, let's say March 1st. It costs us $150. No, that's stupid. Let's say $12.99. You can see overall the formulas start to calculate. Now you might be thinking, oh, what is this negative number? This is negative $13. Because this is rounding. This is now showing you that your overall profit will be less because it's accounting for something that has not sold yet. This is up here is reflecting everything that has sold. So this is also a great way to see what you've made in a month, in a quarter, in a year, etc. So what I'm going to do to further explain this is come down here on line 13 and type totals, okay? This is where we're going to total all the rows. So depending on what, if you're using Sheets or Excel, how you're going to get your formula is virtually the same, but just in case it's not, we'll walk you through it. We're gonna zoom out here just because I need to get to this fun button. So here we go. We're going to total the entire purchase price. This is going to give us overall for whatever month, week, whatever, the overall cost that we spent on the items, which is great because this whole thing becomes a total amount that we deduct from our business expenses, is a business expense, excuse me, that we deduct from overall sales. So purchase price, we're going to, you can either hit equals and hit individual cells and just do plus and plus and plus and plus and plus and enter, and we get $62.99. Or because in theory we're adding more items to the Excel sheet, we're just going to delete that equation and we're going to click where we want that sum to occur. We're going to follow my mouse up to the right and go to the summation button, and you're going to go to sum. Okay, this is now going to give you a pre-populated equation. This is how these sheets work. And you are now going to input by clicking or entering, like typing, the cell that you want, the cells that you want to total, okay? So say you were typing this in, you want to go from D, the letter D, so the column, and then the row, so D2, okay? So D2, oops, D2. And as you type the cells, it will highlight what you're saying. Or a much, much easier version is if you just click and drag everything that you want to be summed, totaled, and hit enter, giving you the same amount, but it's much, much easier. And it will, once you add more items into the rows here and you type, you know, $24, $56, it will already start to total your sum at the bottom for the total cost, okay? So that same logic is going to be applied to every other column, okay? And again, this is a handy dandy tool and easy thing to remember. You do not need to type every single equation in every single circumstance. So I want this exact same thing. I want the same amount of rows in a column totaled. Because I'm not doing any other funky business with this particular equation, it's just adding up what is literally above that cell. All you have to do is click and drag to the right, okay? You see where it did the little dotted line? And let go, and now you see 575. If you double click this, this will now show you you're summing the total items in the sale amount column, which is great because now, you know, at the end of the year, at the end of the month, whatever you're looking to look at, you now can see you have $575 in gross sales, the full amount of money you have received for your business, okay? We're going to drag the cell again to copy the equation, and we're now going to see the total of the Poshmark fees that have been taken out. This is an important column. This is where, again, just like the purchase cost, you're going to be able to take the Poshmark fees and subtract it as a business expense come tax time. So it is beautiful that as you're tracking the Poshmark fees, it is summing up for you to be able to quick reference come tax time. So again, we're going to drag the equation to net sales. We can see that we have net made $460. This is going to be the sale amount minus the Poshmark fees, okay? not including the cost of the item. That will be how we get our profit. So click that cell, drag it to profit, and now we will get the amount of profit we have made from this entire process. So overall, at the end of the year or the month or the week, however you're tracking this, you will be able to see here, and I will actually just go up to this little paint can, and I'm gonna make it green. And now we can see, let's bold it too, that we have profited $317. And so now I'm going to bold this whole entire row. You can see, we always want to be in the green. You can see at quick glance that everything here is available to you at your disposal. And you can kind of start to play around with the numbers if you want to kind of project some sales, or if you want to spend all your money at your cost of goods. I don't know that I communicated that sentence correctly. If you want to enter all of the items, the cost, and then see negative numbers, and this would be a negative number, and just use that as a way to say, okay, I want to get these sales, I want to make this a positive number, we want to get that profit, you can do so by looking at what has sold in your spreadsheet. Something that you'll notice is like this 575, 142, 115, these numbers do not have the dollar sign. If you're new to Excel, Sheets, you kind of have to format, you have to format the cells. So all you need to do, because these are all dollar amounts in here, all you need to do is click and highlight everything you want to become the dollar amount, a percentage, etc. Once it's highlighted, we're going to follow the mouse up to the left, and we're going to hit format as currency, the little dollar sign. Click it. It is now going to give us everything in a dollar format. You can also see that it is with 2 decimal spaces. I do not like to look at that view. I like everything to be the whole dollar amount. So what you can do to change that is next to the dollar sign, go 2 over, and you can say decrease decimal spaces or increase decimal spaces. So say you have this $12.99 item. I don't want it to say $12.99. I want it to say 13. Everything's in whole numbers. Ultimately on taxes, it's a whole number. It'll round. Like if, say you made $100,000, if you made $100,000.55, it'll be $100,000.01. $100,001. So we're going to decrease the decimal spaces, so we just have whole dollar amounts. Okay, and so from here, and I love color coordinating. For me, I'm a very visual person. I like to use green and red, and sometimes yellow when I'm looking at numbers. Green is profit for me. That's how I use this in my sheet. What I'm going to do here is make these cells red, because this is something that I'm going to deduct. It's a negative thing for my business. That's how I keep track of it. I will also use white text so it doesn't hurt the eyes. Sale amount. I don't make this green because this is not the number that is important to me profit-wise. So I will make this yellow. Again, this is my logic. Everyone does this different, so do your own thing. But for me, this is a number that is the total amount of sales, but what I want to see so I can see how my business is doing is focus on the profit. So this is just yellow, meaning like this is a number that's important, but it is not the thing that I'm focusing on. And then last but not least, the purchase price. I just leave this blank. This at the end of the year is something that you, again, use to be able to deduct from your business. I don't make it red because I know, like, at the time of purchasing, I know what it's costing me. What I'm not always aware of is the fees. And actually, did I do that right? I did not mean to select. I'm so sorry. I did not mean to select that. Okay. Do not select net sales. My bad. So the 3 things you're focusing on are your profit, your Poshmark fees, and your sale amount. Okay. Wow, that was a mouthful. I hope that when I edit this, It comes out fine. This is a lengthy video. I can be a little long-winded, but to me, this is something that's very important, very detail-oriented, so I hope you found it helpful. If you have any questions, I hope you feel free to leave a comment and ask me anything there. If you'd like any kind of follow-up video from this, please let me know in the comments. If you want to join me live, don't forget tomorrow I have on the 27th of February, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, I have my Reseller Sip and Scent. Grab a coffee, grab a mimosa, whatever it is you want to drink, water, that's fine. Grab a candle, set the ambiance. We'll talk about all things reselling and have a great hour and set up the weekend for success. And I appreciate you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and hit subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for tuning in and happy sales. Bye.